Want to just playing a big game. No one is true anymore. It's really something you could find someone who you can put your trust and your heart into. So when you find that person, you try to hold on to them. Okay?
Like this,
Not necessarily a question of do black men love black women anymore, because you could ask, do all black men love their mothers? And they would say, yes, I do love my mother. So since a black man has the capability to love his mother, then he has the capability to love any woman. It's just a question of, do black men and black women, do they like each other? Do they get along? Because like I said earlier, we have these sayings and these songs and these, everything. This media, this fad, this trend that's saying it's not cool, it's not whatever for the black man and the black woman to be together. But you gotta understand, if you guys are, if a lot of people are like this at 20, what are you gonna be like when you're 30, 40, 50? What are you gonna be like when it's time for you to have a family? Are you even gonna have a family? Or are you gonna be separated or have a baby's mama? Baby daddy. This is our family structure nowadays, and it's sad to say that, the family structure is the most essential and basic unit of all life on this planet. You can't have anything without having some sort of family structure for the young to grow and develop in. And if we're at this age saying, oh, N-words ain't shit, excuse my language, and, money over bees, like when we're saying stuff like that and we're believing this and acting it out, it's like, we'll never, with the time when we should be practicing for those times when we're parents, when we're training the next generation, we'll never get it right. Because we've never even practiced when it was our turn to practice these things.
I think so, but I think it's difficult because it's hard to generalize all. I don't think it is as much. I think because that caste system of color is still relevant in our day. So the lighter the skin, the better for black men. And so I think that causes the disconnect.
No, I think black men still love their black woman. Well, I don't necessarily think that black men has ever stopped loving their black woman. I think that there are certain forces in society that make black men play certain roles, and it appears as though that many black men do not love their black woman. But I think that's not the majority of the cases when it comes to black men. I think the majority of black men love all women, and I do think that they do love the black woman.
My guess is a lot of times poverty affects black people a lot, and there are many side effects to poverty, and it does include people losing morality and people starting to act differently and being much more argumentative. When you're poor, you always can start a fight, and not just when you're poor, but when you're dealing with these issues that a lot of black people sadly are living through. And also this is shown in the media everywhere you go. You almost, as a black person, being shown this is how you should act. And growing up as a young boy in the black community, you think this is how a person's supposed to act. You're supposed to do all these things. And as a black woman, you're supposed to be independent. This, that, and the third. Don't let no man do this to you and stuff like that. And you grow up almost just ready to fight each other and take advantage of each other. That leads to problems. But I think that black men, like the ones who really love their black women, are the real black men. They're the ones I'm talking about when I say the black men love black women. And when I say the black women I'm talking about are the ones who look and act and dress like black women rather than anything else.
We think about, do black men, do they have the back of black women? Sometimes, I don't know, because it seems like that particular relationship based on each race, ours is the shakiest. It seems like white men and white women tend to get along more so, or build a rapport with each other. And we all know that Asians and Mexicans seem to stick to each other. But the question is always shaky when it comes to black people. And a lot of times we do see the opposite race on each other's harm. And so black men, I think they do have this problem with color, and a lot of times they do go towards white individuals more than they should, and I think so.
The numbers, to me, purely based on numbers and no other factors, I think it's bullshit when people say that you can't handle a black woman, because somehow, statistically, the white man can, right?
They want to be in command. It's part of our culture where you want to be, you're the man of your house. You at least have that appearance. If you do not, it's a big issue. And maybe in other cultures, it's not as big of a problem. A white male in the kitchen cooking for his wife while she's at the desk working, he might not see it as a problem. But in most black communities, if your friend walks in on you in the kitchen and your wife is on the computer, that's an issue.
So does that mean that black men feel like they can't be in charge when a black woman is around?
They can't be in charge?
Yeah, because is that what the point, that they feel less in a manly role?
Not feel less in a manly role, but if they want to be the man of the house, and
so
we know
black women don't let them be the man of the house.
In some cases, I think some black
in
women,
what sense?
and even white women will have this mindset of equality, and they have a certain way of they define equality, and it means 50%, 50-50 is equality, and that doesn't. If you look at African culture and the culture that all black people come from, that's not how it works. It's not 50-50.
Most black men haven't really been taught how to be a man, and so it's not that we are afraid of a black woman. It's just that when we see a strong black woman, it very so often it resembles the black male's mother, right? It's like this mother figure, and so as a male, you want to separate yourself and you want to be your own independent man. But when you have a woman who is very, very strong, she comes over very motherly. Well, the mother will direct you and tell you what to do and what not to do. And so that's really the issue. But it has to do with, really, is your man, or was your man really raised to be a man? And you'll find out in many cases, when you have that type of disagreement, or when you have black men say, black women are too loud or too rude or too bossy, it's because they themselves haven't been taught how to be a man. Because most men who are taught how to be a man will be able to have a strong enough conversation where it's not questioning their manhood and they feel insecure about who they are. It's really all about insecurity when you hear people talk that way. So it's really this idea of, are you really first involved with a man? And 9 times out of 10, if you find out that he hasn't been raised to be a man, then you're going to deal with these type of issues.
I think that's just black men being weak, that they can't handle a stronger woman a lot of times. And so, but I also think that sometimes black women, because they've been oppressed so much for the fact that they're women and they're black, is that they're trying to find this independency, which I think is very special, but sometimes it excludes that relation with black men. And this may also be an issue with black men, that they, for their lack of power, they try to dominate black women in the wrong way.